I hate to do this, but the new shotgun is completely broken. It can two-shot and wipe a whole 5-man team with one magazine. Watch this little clip to get vibed in, and then I'll walk you through the build.
Oh my days, 4 guys. Nice falling.
You got another team rolling in a car.
4 knocks, you missed.
Another guy.
Not only does the KV Broadside do insane damage per shot, it also blinds the opponents when you're using the Dragon's Breath ammunition. Now, you don't have to use the Dragon's Breath. Let's do some number crunching really quick. You can do with the normal ammunition 120 damage per shot. That's down to the amount of pellets the gun shoots and the amount of damage per pellet you do, which means with 120 damage per shot, you would have a 3-shot to kill up to roughly 10 meters without Dragon's Breath ammunition. If you then use Dragon's Breath ammunition, roughly around 9 meters, and these stats are taken from Mr. Elgu, who's the absolute shotgun guru, link to the channel in the description below, you can 1-tap, 2-tap someone, and then there's the 1-2 burn tick, and he actually dies to it. So it's a 2-shot, which is possible, but mostly due to using the bolt, and that's the dash bolt, you're going to 3-shot anyways. That being said, you're not using the incendiary again for the actual 2-shot potential. It's just because it's like a flashbang. You're spewing fire at your opponent, and it's like literally a cone of death that's completely blinding everyone, as you saw in the clip, and they can't even shoot back. So step number 1, put on the Dragon's Breath. And here, very important, we're tuning this towards bullet velocity, because no hurt that the shells fly out faster, and then we're pulling out the damage range, and tops out after roughly 50. Now, as I said, dash bolt increases the fire rate, and that fire rate increase is 50 rounds per minute. So from 200 RPM to 250 RPM, and that will reduce the time to kill roughly by 100 milliseconds, down to 465 milliseconds on a 3-shot. That's a 3-shot. I'm not talking about what the 2-shot can do then.
3 pushing over to you, Pony. I've simply got to get involved.
Oh my god.
I dog down 2, down 2. Here, no tuning available. Then, very important, we need to check the barrels. Now, we do not have the exact stats yet. We're currently waiting for sim.gg to get all their data uploaded, and if the barrels do actually more than what the muzzles would do. We have 2 here. So this is like movement speed, some damage range, but we're looking at the range increase. There's not much happening. So far, the Gunner, the ZL, and also back here, the Sport 8 do have the biggest range increase. I would almost say that the Sport 8 actually has a little bit more than the Gunner, but both seem about the same. So taking the Gunner, we pull out the damage range again even further. You want more, and more. And you could actually go for aim walk movement speed, because if you're not hip firing with a shotgun, what you're going to do is you're going to ADS and 1-step, 2-step, 2. So aim walk movement speed does you a huge favor.
Level is he on? Behind the roof.
Now, obviously, 8 rounds, not enough. You want to have the 25 rounds. So Ashika Island or wherever, you can just wipe everyone off the floor. Now, that's 4 attachments. And for the last one, you have 2 choices. Banger movement speed and hip fire, or even more range. This one gentleman below me.
They backed up to the buy. They must have backed up to the buy.
Ah! Sorry. Had a moment.
You let your frustrations out.
Now, before I tell you the last attachment, one thing for mouse and keyboard players. Yes, you can play shotguns with tactical sprint. Usually when you tac sprint and tap the mouse button, you're not shooting. That's a problem. You're tac sprinting and I'm shooting, not shooting. But what you do is if you actually hold the mouse button instead of just tapping it, so you sprint and hold the mouse button, you start shooting straight away. So sprint, hold the mouse button, and then you can shoot away. That's the trick for mouse and keyboard to actually be able to play auto tac sprint and shoot. Now again to the blinding potential. I mean, look at that poor guy. Do you think he can see anything? Like alone when I'm doing this, this is how it looks when you're getting shot at. This is what you're getting. And actually that fire thingy is right in your face.
Go for res, Pony.
So for the last attachment, we can go for stock. Here we would go for stockless. That would actually increase the aiming recoil control. So when you're actually aiming down sight, the gun is going to fly up. But that's surprisingly okay with a shotgun. But it would also give you hip recoil control, movement speed, sprint to fire speed, and aim down sight speed, a big chunk. So that would allow you to just move faster and zoom harder. And you have like very good hip fire here going on, especially considering you're going for 9 meters. Now, look, when you're aiming down sight, it goes up, but not to a point where you can't actually keep it on. So you can easily still keep it on. It's a shotgun, end of the day. It bugs up. It's not like an AR where you have a continuous where the stockless is a problem if it gives 30% bonus recoil control. Instead of the stockless, you have 2 options as well. You could look for choke, and here I would go for the Bryson choke or the Aston modified choke for improved damage range. The problem with chokes is they only work when you actually ADS. So when you're aiming down sight, then they start choking the bullets. So if you're just looking for damage range, you have something like the Schweiger or the SAMX. Again, we don't have the exact damage values, so I can't tell you which one is the perfect one here, but we'll make an updated video as soon as the values are in. They both work also in non-ADS. Now, before I give you that full tuning screenshot, there's a second build I kept secret from you, and that is using the slug rounds. Slug rounds are kind of something interesting. You can do bonus ball velocity, and you really want bonus ball velocity here, and also pull out the damage range. To remind you, slug rounds used to 2-shot on 20 meters in Warzone 1. A slug essentially ends up to be one single slug. The problem here, problem quotation mark, is there's a little bit of variance to it. So it's bloom. So I spam this away, and you notice, random outlier. That we can take care of with attachments. You can hit these shots, boom, headshot, and you can even hit these shots, extremely easy. You can also hit the shots back there, but for that we need attachments. Because with the slug rounds, we're going to be precise. Therefore, I'm going to put a Chrono Mini Pro on for far and aim down sight speed, so I can hit this better. And for the muzzle, we're here going for the tighter pellet spread to actually get that one random thing kind of together. And we're also going for obvious damage range, and then even more damage range and even more tighter pellet spread. Now, if we're already looking at this, just spamming it away in comparison, you notice, yeah, that's better. You kind of don't have this weird anymore. And for that, if you're actually then going here and here and then back here, you're finally hitting the ones back on the back already. Now, obviously here we would also use 25 round mag to be able to just completely spam it away. And last but not least, you kind of want to have the dashbolt, but realistically, if you're shooting close up, even if you're shooting close up, you're not going to be so hardcore spamming it away. You're going to be using this as a sniper support most likely. So we're going to put on the barrel with a gunner, tune this towards damage range. Again, always pull the damage range out. But in this case, recoil steadiness to just get a little bit rid of the bucking up. And then you have this beautiful gun that with 25 bullets, and let's just do this for a second. You notice how you can just spam it away and how they're all more or less centered. So you could really, you have someone close by and you're just going to spam him. Keep in mind, you have to ADS and you have to aim for the body. High risk, high reward, but also banger damage. And then last but not least, you can also shoot this guy on the distance. But as you notice, you don't want to spam the gun away. I mean, sure, I can spam at this medium range guy away, but at the far away guy, I'm going to like take my time. Slugs are extreme fun and used to absolutely dominate in Warzone 1. Enjoy both KV Broadside builds. Tell me how they went for you. They're 100% getting nerfed. And if you're more interested in using SMGs, no worries. I got you covered. Check out the top 5 SMGs there right now.